There's a truth about money that almost no one hears, not because it's a secret, but because it's uncomfortable. It doesn't fit with the narrative we're told from childhood, it doesn't sell fast food, and it doesn't generate immediate applause. But when you finally understand it, everything shifts. It doesn't just change how much money you earn, it changes how you think, how you make decisions, and how you use your time. And time, though almost no one says it out loud, is the true center of this whole game. It's the scarcest, most valuable, and most irreversible resource there is. All the money in the world is useless if you don't know how to manage it over time. Let me ask you something right from the start, and don't answer too quickly. Do you feel like you work a lot but get very far? Most people are in that exact situation. They work hard, they're responsible, they keep to schedules, they pay bills, and they do the right thing, and yet they feel constant pressure, a silent sense that if they stop, everything will fall apart. It's not a lack of discipline, it's not a lack of intelligence, it's a lack of the right mindset, because almost no one has ever explained to us that the real problem isn't how much money comes in, but what role that money plays once it's in our hands. From a very young age, we're taught only one function of money: to spend. You work, you receive money, and you exchange it for things: food, housing, entertainment, comfort, status. This cycle becomes so normalized that no one questions it, and because no one questions it, millions of people live trapped within it without realizing it, not because money is bad, but because they only use it in one way. Herein lies the first major mental breakdown: money can be an object of consumption or a tool of production. Most people never cross that line. They remain on the consumer side their entire lives. When you only know how to spend money, you'll always depend on your job, and when you depend on your job to sustain your life, no matter how much you earn, you're still trading hours for survival. Your salary may increase, your lifestyle may improve, but the dependency remains, and that dependency generates silent anxiety, fear of losing everything, and constant pressure that becomes normalized over the years. We were sold a distorted image of financial freedom. We were told it was about being able to buy whatever you want whenever you want, but we were never told about the hidden cost of that apparent freedom: the hours invested, the accumulated stress, the mental exhaustion, and the constant obligation to keep producing so as not to lose what you've already bought. Because when your lifestyle depends on your active income, you're not free, you're efficient, and there's a huge difference. Here's where I want you to pay attention, because this point separates those who merely survive from those who build. The money you spend disappears, the money you invest multiplies. The money you consume dies, the money you put to work lives, reproduces, and creates more money. This isn't cheap motivation, it's a basic financial law. Before we continue, if this content is helping you see money differently, please consider subscribing to the channel and turning on notifications so you don't miss any of these practical, life-changing tips. This is important because the way you think about money determines every decision you make and every opportunity you let pass. Let me explain with a simple story, because profound truths are best understood that way. In a small town lived a man named Elias. Elias was strong, hardworking, and disciplined. He rose before dawn and worked until his body gave out. He cut down trees all day long. Each tree was money, each day worked meant food, and each day not working was a risk. Elias did everything right, just as he had been taught. He was responsible, consistent, and tireless. With the money he earned, he bought what he needed: nothing luxurious, nothing extravagant. Every expense seemed logical, every purchase seemed justified, but there was something Elias didn't see: all his money depended directly on his health. If Elias stopped working, the money stopped; if Elias got sick, everything fell apart. One day, a stranger arrived. He didn't cut down trees, and he didn't seem tired. He watched Elias for hours without saying a word. At the end of the day, when Elias was resting, exhausted, the stranger approached him and asked a simple question: "How much time do you spend sharpening your axe?" Elias laughed. Sharpening his axe didn't bring him immediate money, cutting down trees did. He didn't have time for things that didn't produce instantly visible results. The stranger didn't argue, he simply explained something Elias had never considered. While he spent all his energy producing, he never invested in improving the system that generated the money. He never used money to multiply his wealth, only to survive. That's exactly the situation for most people today. They work to pay bills, they pay bills so they can keep working, and they call that stability. Herein lies the first true principle of wealth, the consumption rate trap. When your income increases, so does your consumption. You earn more and spend more. You improve your standard of living, but not your level of freedom. Every improvement becomes a new obligation, and the worst part is that you can't go back without feeling like you've failed. The problem isn't spending, the problem is spending everything. The problem is never allowing money to stay with you long enough to learn how to work for you. Let me give you a powerful idea: every dollar you spend is an employee you fire, every dollar you invest is an employee you hire. And there's one very special employee: money. It doesn't get tired, it doesn't sleep, it doesn't complain, and it doesn't ask for raises. It works 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, even while you're resting. This is where many people get uncomfortable, because it implies responsibility. It implies accepting that many past decisions weren't strategic, but emotional. You buy things to relieve stress, to feel status, to compensate for tiredness. That doesn't make you a bad person, it makes you human, but continuing to do it without questioning it keeps you trapped. Here's a question that changes decisions. Don't ask, "Can I afford this?" Ask, "What am I sacrificing if I pay for this?" Because every expense has a hidden cost, the future income that money could have generated. An expensive car isn't just a car, it's capital that stopped working, it's future time given up for present comfort. When you begin to see money from this perspective, your decisions change effortlessly, not out of fear, but out of clarity. This is where the second principle comes in, the difference between visible wealth and operational wealth. Visible wealth is shown, operational wealth works. Objects are results, systems are the cause. Most people pursue the result without building the cause, and that's why they never catch up with those who understand the game. People who build wealth don't think about what they'll buy when they have money, they think about what system they'll build so that money comes to them even when they're not around, because they understand something key: true luxury isn't the object, it's the option. The option to decide, to choose, to not be obligated. If this video is showing you something you haven't heard before, like it, leave a comment, and share it with someone who needs to change their financial mindset. That helps this message reach more people and allows them to awaken to a new way of thinking about their money. Let me ask you an uncomfortable but necessary question: if you couldn't work for a year tomorrow, what would happen to your financial life? That answer defines your true level of wealth. Here's where the third principle comes in, the power of silent compounding. Compound interest isn't just a mathematical formula, it's structured patience. It's allowing time to do what human effort can't. It's accepting that the most powerful results take time to appear, but when they do, they don't stop. Most people give up just before they get there, not because it's impossible, but because it's not immediate. They confuse progress with constant stimulation, but the money that gives you the most freedom is the one you notice least at first. Now imagine your income is a river. It flows every month. The common mindset drinks from the river and waits until the next month to drink again. They live in constant dependence. The builder mindset does something different. Before drinking, they build a dam, redirect part of the flow, accumulate, invest, and tolerate the initial discomfort. And when the dam is ready, the water doesn't just accumulate, it generates energy. That energy is passive income, that energy is freedom, not to do nothing, but to choose with intention. But there's something else no one tells you: even if you manage to accumulate money and invest it, your mind can sabotage you. Real wealth demands mental discipline. It involves saying no to impulsive purchases, resisting social pressure, and prioritizing freedom over appearances. Every dollar you let work for you is a brick in your future. Every dollar you waste is time you'll never get back. And this is where it all comes together. True abundance isn't about buying everything, it's about not worrying about money, living without urgency, sleeping peacefully, and knowing that your time is no longer for sale to the highest bidder. Now, answer this with complete honesty: is your money working for you, or are you still the one working exclusively for it? That answer changes everything. Money doesn't buy freedom, it earns it by working for you, even while you sleep. If you want to keep learning how to make your money work for you while you sleep, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any truly life-changing tips. And remember, it's not about how much money you have, but about how much control you have over your time, your energy, and your life. Because true luxury isn't what you own, it's the ability to decide without fear, without haste, without pressure, with total freedom. Money can work for you, but first you must train your mind, create systems, allow time to work its magic, and accept that the greatest rewards take time, but they do come, and when they do, they no longer depend on your hours, but on your strategy. Every decision you make from today onward can bring you closer to that freedom or keep you trapped in the endless cycle of financial survival. The final question you must ask yourself each day is, am I building my axe, or just chopping down trees?